What's up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today is a back day because the back can never be big enough. I always say that bodybuilding contests can be won from the back, and I do believe it's true even in classic physique. But obviously that's a little bit of a controversy now that Chris Bumstead has won, and we can all see that Brian Angley has won a couple of years. We all thought it was because of his complete physique, including the incredible back. So I do still believe that a proportionate physique with a very strong back is going to do well for you in any bodybuilding class. But anyway, we are working on the back width first with this movement, but we are using a wide grip pull down, basically a neutral grip compared to a lat pull down, which would be with your palms facing forward, which is not the grip I actually prefer on a movement like this, because that lat pull down would purely be for the back width. And here you can see that I'm rocking my back backwards a little bit, rocking my upper body backwards, and that means I'm doing a hybrid in between a pull down and a row, basically, because that's what feels the best on this movement. Yes, a little bit of momentum is being used during these working sets, but working sets is all about doing as many reps as you can possibly can do with a full range of motion. Once you hit a certain rep threshold, for example 12 reps on the first working set, you're going to try to perfect those 12 reps until the form is perfect before moving on to a new weight. And that's the way to do it. Unfortunately, a lot of people move to a new weight and use even more momentum to do that weight. That's not what I like to do. So for most of my back workouts, I like to start out with a pull down movement because it warms up the back, it warms up the arms, and not to forget the biceps, because they are being used in each and every back exercise. So first warm the entire back with a nice pull down. You're able to really stretch those lats in the entire back when going upwards, which is very important. And now we can move on to rowing exercises. Very soon I'll actually post a tutorial on my channel regarding this very exercise, using this row as a unilateral movement, because as you can see, the way I'm doing this is the handle. For example, this is my left arm right here, so I'm taking the handle on the right side with my left arm to extend the range of motion and to extend the stretch I get in the back. And here you can see that I attached a gym pin to this stack, so if you are in a gym and you can easily do the full stack of weights, that is in a machine for example, and you would want to add another plate in a safe manner, you can actually use this gym pin, and I have a personal affiliate code. Check it out in the description below if you are interested, so check out the website if you are interested in getting one of those gym pins. We'll tell you more about that in a future video. But this is an amazing exercise for the back thickness. So I'm using this grip here for mostly complete full range of motion, but also because it feels more natural to pull like this. Because imagine doing a dumbbell row, you don't go straight up and down, you actually go down, inwards, and then go up and outwards. That's how the back works. There's pretty much no movement in the body that works very much straight up and down, except when you want to lock yourself in, for example this Smith machine. But because the barbell isn't moving, the upper body is. So now I'm moving in a natural way with my upper body to help with this lift, to make it optimal for the optimal contraction and also the optimal stretch. So You can do the barbell row like this without a Smith machine if you want, but I like to use the Smith machine because it makes it much easier for the bar path to be in the exact same spot. I'm able to stand exactly where I want, to get a very good stretch and also a very good contraction. And one of my rules for this barbell row is to let the barbell go at least below the knees, feel a stretch in the lower lats and the lats overall, and then when going up, pull the barbell to your belly button, contracting the lower back very hard. So I just did my first working set, which was the heaviest one, around 9 reps or 10 reps with 130 kilos. And this is the second working set. It's probably about 5 minutes of rest in between these working sets, but this one is with a lot more volume, allowing me to perfect the form a little bit more with a lighter weight, but with more volume, so I can actually improve myself in 2 different ways, with a heavy weight and also with a lighter weight but with more reps. That's a great way to be able to gauge progress using several different rep ranges, so you can always improve yourself. If it's not strength, it'll be the amount of reps you do on the other working set. But enough about that, because now we're doing an incredible exercise on the ATX Belt Squat. Yes, it may be called a belt squat because that's what it's mainly used for, which is why it's called that way. But we can also do dips and also rowing movements, as you can see right here. Now this feels really amazing. I'm able to support myself by leaning against those 2 pillars behind me, and I have a full range of motion capability without me having to hold a dumbbell or a barbell or anything like this. I simply hold a handle of my preference because I can attach any attachment to this machine that I want, that feels the best, and then simply perform the exercise with as much weight as I want. As you can see right there, you can add a whole lot of weight. So instead of doing a unilateral movement, you can also do a T-bar row on this machine, by the way, for example, because then you have to load it up with a lot more weight, but that still is possible. So this basically is a combination of a free weight machine and a regular machine, and that way it really feels quite amazing in the muscle that you want to train. So here you can actually see the back in motion. Now I have to say, the shape I have right here is at the same time the worst and the best shape I'm having at the moment. Let me explain that really shortly. It's the best shape because I'm about 17 weeks out, and it's the best 17 weeks out shape I've had, meaning with the amount of muscle mass, fullness and conditioning. And at the same time it's the worst because now I'm in the phase of the diet where I'm pretty flat but still have too much fat on my muscles to actually see the muscles beneath. So you don't have fullness, allowing the muscles to be filled with the glycogen and popping that muscle's fullness pump out. So you don't have that, and you also don't have a low enough body percentage so you can actually see all the lines. So this is always a few weeks where your body looks the worst, but I'm very happy that I can definitely see progress that I've made compared to previous contests, because I still have all the pictures, all the videos of when I was about this far out from any contest, and I really do think my best shape is yet to come. Anyway guys, this is the face pull, and I really love this for the rear delts. If you look at my rear delts right there, you can see them literally contract. When you're doing a face pull, you have to look out not to contract the traps too hard. And that is a difficult thing to do, because when you're performing this exercise, you have no option, no choice but to contract those traps. But you do have a choice in what muscle you want to feel the most. So if you really go for that mind-muscle connection and you go with the face pull, when you contract and pull the rope all the way to your face, that's where you want to feel the rear delts contract. And the best way to do this is, as you can see, the ropes go apart as much as possible when you pull it to your face, and that allows you to isolate those rear delts instead of only using the straps to literally row the way to your face. That's not what you want to do. I also did some cable pullovers to finish off the back my lower lats are always going to be a weaker point compared to the upper back, because my back attaches, well, my lats attach quite high, at least not as low as I would optimally want them to. So what you then have to do is create an illusion that they are attached lower by creating thicker lower lats. So that's why I always like to do either a dumbbell pullover or a cable pullover like this to emphasize those lower lats a little bit as well. And after doing all the back movements, it's of course time for the biceps. Now, there's almost nothing better than the simple old school alternating dumbbell curl. And why is there almost nothing better? Because it's simply a very old school, simple, straight exercise to do. You curl the weight up and down, but you also move your wrists outwards. So you turn your wrist outwards, and that allows you to not only contract the bicep in one way, in flexion, but also flex it by actually turning the wrist, because the bicep has then two functions: to bring the lower arm upwards, but also to twist the lower arm. So you actually get those two functions in one. And then you train those two functions with this exercise, going to failure with pretty high volume sets, because you never want to go only 5 reps for a bicep, because that is simply too dangerous for the joints. You simply will use too much momentum to get the weight up, and it simply won't give you big biceps. And here I am actually doing the trick. I taught you guys a few videos ago the bicep curl trick, how to do more reps on the alternating bicep curl. So what you want to do is actually hold the dumbbell all the way to the side, so to the inside, and that way the outside of the dumbbell will actually fall and help your wrist turn outwards easier. And that way you can actually do a few more reps after you think you already hit failure. And you really should check out the video I made for this on my channel to get a more detailed description. And this, guys, this is an amazing superset of the reverse easy curl bar and a regular easy curl bar. So what you do is you first grab the barbell like this, shoulder width, and keep your thumbs over the barbell, because then you also train the forearms, which nobody thinks they have big enough forearms. So always make it as difficult as possible. And in the superset, it's very important to think about this. Whenever doing a superset, you always have to do the easiest exercise last. Because if you do the easiest first and the hardest second, the hardest is going to be even more difficult, and the easiest one is going to be even more easy. So this is the harder movement of the two. You start with that one first and then do the regular barbell curl after, because that's the easier movement. And then it actually becomes a very challenging superset, because the first set you do makes the second set more difficult, and it really feels great. You get an enormous pump in the biceps, and it's very good for not only the bicep peak, which is what the second part of the superset is for, but also for bicep thickness, which is what the first exercise of this superset is for. Now, when you're going too heavy on this movement, you might want to actually grab the barbell with your thumbs as well, because then it's not only about the forearms anymore, it's simply about being able to hold on to the weight to be able to curl it up and down. But the first few sets, whenever you can, keep the thumbs over the bar to actually train those forearms. And by the way, this tank top is relatively new on the VintageGenetics.com webshop, the Golden Era Ringer tank top. I really want to thank you guys a lot for watching the video. Don't forget to stay golden.